I'm back. I was live earlier. I said I would come back later. And I know I often say that. Well, I usually say I might come back. And this time I did. This time I did. Because you know what? It's not even about the holidays. I mean, it is just 2 or 3 weeks before Thanksgiving. It's not even about the holidays at this point. It's like the clock is ticking. Everybody, yes, we need to rest, but baby, we need to rest only from certain activities. We still need to be upskilling. We still need to be developing soft skills. We still need to be building. This is a quiet season, but that does not mean we do nothing. We still need to build, okay? We still need to build. We still need to build skills. We still need to build businesses. We still need to build income streams. Okay, we need to build ourselves, right? We need to invest in our nourishment. We need to invest in our rest. We need to invest in our nutrition. We need to invest in our mental health, in our physical health, in our spaces, right? We need to build, and all of those things are going to take what? Income, okay? Not all income, not everything you build has to be something that is going to break you, that you are going to have to exert a lot mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Do you have to show up? Yes. But does it mean that you have to work 80, 90 hours every minute that you are awake? No. Okay? There are ways to build the automation. There are ways to build the systems so that you do not have to be physically active all day, every day. However, in the beginning, you are going to have to show up frequently, and you're going to have to show up, I guess often and frequently are the same thing. But you're going to have to show up. You're going to have to show up boldly. You're going to have to show up frequently. Hey, girl, hey. Okay. You are going to have to be vulnerable. You're going to have courage. You're going to have to be brave and do things that you have not done before, because this is such a time as this. Now, I, like my friend Sarah here, am old enough to remember the 80s, okay? The early 80s, really pretty much the entire 80s, because we had 8 years of Reagan, and then I think, was Bush only 4 years? Thanks, girl. You keep telling me that. I think Bush was 4 years. So, you know, Reagan pretty much ate up the 80s. Yeah, and then we had Bush for 4 years and then Clinton. So I remember what it was like, right? Some of us have grown up without wearing brand name and designer clothes for most of our childhood, right? Y'all kids eat crab legs. Y'all kids go to hibachi. Y'all's kids travel multiple times of the year. Many of us grew up, if we got 1 or 2 road trips a year, we were lucky. I didn't fly on my first airplane until I was a freshman in high school. Now, I'm not saying one is better than the other. What I am saying is, for some of you, y'all have no idea what is coming, especially if you don't do something about it, okay? Especially if you have not prepared for it. Many people are doing what? They are living beyond their means. They have more money. We talked about this earlier. They have more money going out than they have coming in. That is what you call a deficit. If you watch the news, because apparently some of y'all don't watch the news, y'all don't even know what these terms and things that are being thrown around mean. And y'all voted, and now you want to take your vote back. I'm not here to negate the election results. I'm not here. I am apolitical at this point. Okay? I am apolitical at this point. I am just speaking facts. How to change my vote is trending on Google. Yes, it is. Y'all are looking up things that you should have looked up over a week ago. And now you want to try to demand a recount because you can't change your vote. Well, hopefully us has learned a lesson. And we know not to do that anymore, because I have been telling you, you have a super powered computer in the palm of your hand. You have Wi-Fi. You have an Android. You have an iPhone. I don't know what the other two options are what other options there are besides those two. I mean, maybe you're on a flip phone. There are people who might still have flip phones. Okay? There's no excuse for that. But I'm here to tell you, some of y'all gonna have to learn how to buy your staples. What do I mean by staples? Staples are things like you don't ever want to run out of in your home. Like rice, oatmeal, canned goods, bread, butter, cheese, things that you can make a meal out of. Now listen, I'm not here to fearmonger, but I am going to keep it real with you. Because until some of y'all change your ways, these are the things you're going to be looking at. I am not here to fearmonger at all. But y'all know, because y'all been looking it up. The Google Trends show it. Tariffs. What are tariffs? Has been trending in Google search. Y'all got to learn what tariffs are and how they actually impact the price of goods. Because y'all thought the other government or the other countries pay for that, and no, we're going to end up paying for that, right? People were telling y'all beforehand that those tariffs and that plan would cost the average American, I think, $4,000 or $5,000 a year, on top of what all the the increases that have already happened. They ain't going away. Inflation is not something that's reversed, meaning you don't go back to the old pricing. They just slow it down to keep the prices from going up and up, right? You got to hold the prices, stop the rate of increase, and get them to hold. But very rarely do they revert back to the old pricing. Okay? I don't know what else to tell y'all. I really don't. Other than the good news is you can get ahead of it. You can get ahead of it by, one, committing to personal development. And I'm not saying this in a judging manner. I'm saying this from someone who has been all about personal development for many, 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 many years. Okay? That was one of my complaints in my last true ranking corporate jobs, was I didn't have time in my day for personal development, right? And I didn't even mean that they had to pay me for the personal development, but I meant like I didn't have time to come in my office and just sit and review things and meditate. It was all death by fire from the moment I got there to the moment I left, day in and day out. Nobody should work in those circumstances, and that's why I no longer do. But in order to be able to do that, you have to invest in yourself, right? You have to invest in books. YouTube is free. You can watch a lot of personal development on YouTube. I think YouTube is great for personal development, not so much for skill development. I mean, it's okay for skill development. It's not the worst. I think you are better off to really know who you are watching for skill development when it comes to YouTube, right? But you need to be spending at least 30 minutes a day on your personal development. I do that every single day, often before I even get out of bed. I have some sort of inspirational, devotional, something going on every morning for at least 30 minutes to set the mood, to set my mindset for the day. Like I said, what I wished I had been able to have in that job, right? In that high paying job that was stressing me and killing me, okay? I know the title of this is creating that monthly recurring revenue, but part of how you create that monthly recurring revenue is your personal development, is the skill development. Because I'm going to tell you, after 10 years of this, it is not that easy to just leave a job and replace your income. You have to grow into a certain person in order to be able to do it. And it's one thing to create it and another thing to keep it going consistently, let alone scale it and grow it, okay? But you got to start somewhere. And in order to create that monthly recurring revenue, what you're going to need to do is invest in yourself. So if you are new here, my name is Tamara Hamilton. I have over 30 years of sales, marketing, and leadership experience. I have developed high performing, highly successful sales teams. I have worked on and worked with many of the biggest names and brands out there, right? Names like Disney, Glade, Universal Studios, United Airlines, Southwest Airlines Vacations. I've worked with many of the biggest names out there. JP Morgan Chase, okay? I have over 32 years of sales, marketing, and leadership experience. And what I do is I help my clients to be able to get in front of more people online to grow and scale their businesses. Point blank, period, end of discussion. No, I just like to say that every now and then, okay? I'm also 50, so yes, I'm fanning myself. I thought I did turn that fan off. I should have left it on. So I'm fanning myself, okay? So I have created successful memberships. I have helped my clients create successful monthly recurring revenue programs, and it takes some coaching. It takes some help. It takes some getting outside of what it is that you know. So let me explain a dream scenario for you, okay? So back when I was working for a very large company, I managed banking centers, okay? And I also wanted to be an adjunct professor. However, my work schedule just didn't allow it, not to mention I was the mom to two girls. I was a single mom, sole financial provider to two girls. So being an adjunct professor was going to be a bit challenging, okay? Because you could only, as an adjunct professor, which is, an adjunct professor means that you are teaching at the collegiate level, but you are coming to that with real world work experience, not just book knowledge. Am I making sense here? Let me know in the comments, okay? You're not just coming with book knowledge. You are actually coming from years of actually having worked in your field and being able to bring that knowledge and combine it with the book knowledge to give the students more of a real world, experience, okay? And so I couldn't do that, right? I also used to think about, man, I'm really good at developing sales teams. I'm really good at developing people, not even just sales people, ops people for the next step. I talked about earlier how I used to even write development plans and entire development guides and training guides, right? And so I was like, I could see myself doing this on the side coaching, but because I worked in financial services, I would have had to get that approved. And I didn't want to get that approved. I didn't want to be reporting to them what I was making because, I forget the verse from Matthew, but something about you can't have serve two masters lest you love one and hate the other. What it really means, in my opinion, is this. When the boss knows that you are not solely dependent on them, that you have other options, they start to move funny. They start to act different, right? It's like I say, sis, I generate leads and collect orders in my sleep. You can't talk to me just any kind of way. You can't just talk to me any kind of way. Because when you can go to work, which I have done, when you can go to work and you know that in an hour webinar on a Saturday, you made more than you would in maybe a month on that job, you have a little bit of a different attitude. It don't mean that your work ethic declines. It just means you're not going to take the things that you used to take. So a lot of bosses and companies really don't like that. And that's why you see people get on this app and all of a sudden they start having success, and people on their job start figuring out that they are having success, and then they start having troubles on their job, right? Sometimes they get fired or get told that they can't do this or do that anymore. And the smart ones choose themselves over that job, right? And I'm gonna be real, because I always am. It does not mean that you can just go find another job that easily these days. They're saying it's taking, let me look it up. It says, on average, it takes 3 to 6 months to find a new job from start to finish. The probability of getting a job interview from one job application is 8.3%. This means it could take 10 to 20 applications to get one interview. I'm gonna keep it all the way real with you. The time it takes, because these days you got to customize your resume and your cover letter for those, what was it, 8 to 10 to 20 applications. I could have made the money. I could have made the money. I'm gonna just keep it real. One coaching client, that's just honestly how I look at it, right? How long does it usually take? They're saying it takes about a year. It's taking about a year. I would say, I know most people it's taking 12 to 16 months. If they lose their job, if they, get furloughed or any of that, it's taking a good year plus, especially for white collar jobs, college educated, skilled jobs. It's going to take a little bit longer, right? Now, there was a time when, like, nursing, for example, they just didn't have enough nurses. They just didn't have enough. So you could go, I saw somebody talk about that. Like, the good thing about working in healthcare is you can quit your job today and have another one tomorrow. Most industries, however, are just not like that. And some of that has to do with AI. So you can go back to my page and you will see where I talk about the soft skills and how it's, soft skills are one of the main things that you need to be able to communicate through your cover letter, through your resume, and in the interview, and demonstrate that you have. Thank you for the love. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, you have to be able to demonstrate those soft skills. I'll be honest with you. They're even more important when you're building your own business, baby, because I'm the CEO, I'm customer service, right? And my customer service is chef's kiss, right? I take care of my clients, right? But I also don't work with everybody. That's marketing and sales. That's funneling to make sure that I am working with the right people. Now, there are a few who have slipped through over the years, but like my refunds are pretty much non-existent. Mainly because I stick to my refund policy, but and my cancel policy, but I generally work with people. I don't also, because it's one thing, people will tell you they don't have a lot of refunds, but then ask them about their disputes. My disputes are also non-existent because I have great customer service skills and I work with my people. So soft skills are not only important in a job, your soft skills are also very important when you are building something online. Don't believe me? Think about the stylists, the hairstylists, the salon owners, and the hate that they have gotten online because of all their booking fees and cancel policies, and then they show up late. They can show up late, not show up, and still want to hold your deposit and all these other things, right? And so that's a lack of soft skills. That's not having soft skills, right? Soft skills is how you handle people, how you communicate things, right? Especially in writing, like some of these the things you say to a customer or a client in Messenger, because all they have to do is take a screenshot and it will go far and wide and fast online. That is soft skills. You need soft skills, right? So when you are building something with monthly recurring revenue, to go back to, I knew I wanted to coach from my corporate job, take something that you already know and are good at. What do you know really well? What are things that your boss that you have and bosses that you've had would say about you if somebody called them for references? What would they say about you? That's your brand. That's what you need to start with, not your passion. Start with what you know, because you already have the reputation, you have the social proof, you have everything you need to monetize it instead of going directly for your passion. Learning something that you don't know, because you got to allot yourself time to learn it before you can monetize it. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. You have to put yourself in a position to learn it before you monetize it. And yes, you can earn and learn at the same time, but if you want to turbocharge, that came out funny, turbocharge your success, start with what you already know and monetize that, and then you can pivot later. And the great thing about that is you can stack your coins and use those coins to fund your passion, right? Now, that doesn't mean sell one book and now all of a sudden you move to your passion. You set your goal, you do your research, and build a plan, hint, hint, with someone like me in order to be able to create your plan and be working on a timeline and figuring out what you need to sell, how many you need to sell in order to create the money to fund what it is that you want to do, right? I'm not going to get into funded offer and all that. I'm going to keep it simple, but you can fund anything you want these days, right? I've always found it funny that people put some of the things people start GoFundMe's for when they would probably make just as much money and even faster and maybe even more money if they actually went to the market with what they are actually really good at. That one, what is that thing that makes you unique? If you know Microsoft Word better than anybody else, then you should be doing content, creating content, and monetizing your knowledge of Microsoft Word. If it's Microsoft Excel, right? Early on in my corporate career, I was known as the Excel girl. And I wasn't even all that great at Excel, but I was better than the people that I worked with because they really sucked. Let me tell you, when it came to Word, they were actually using Word like it was a typewriter. I hated to go into documents that any of them had created before I got there because it was just horrible, because they literally were like spacing all the way to the center and doing just weird stuff instead of actually using Word like a word processor, right? So what is it that you know better than anybody else, right? Later on in my career, people wanted to come work for me because I had the reputation for developing people. Number one, I got my people paid. I always developed my people so that they not only got paid, they were not one-hit wonders. They got paid consistently because I taught them how to think. And part of teaching them how to think as salespeople that were not 100% commission, they did get a very healthy base, but they also had, very significant income potential, both monthly bonuses as well as annual bonuses. I taught them how to interpret the compensation plan. I taught them where the money was in the compensation plan. So I never had a problem filling positions internally in my location because people wanted to come work for me. I did have a little bit of a reputation for being tough, but it was worth it to work for me because while I was tough, I cared a whole lot about my people and invested myself in their success and developed them. So what is it that you are known for? There is no accident that I still to this day focus on sales, marketing, and leadership in my monetization efforts because it is my gift. Okay, it is my gift. It is what I know. I have spent more of my life than not in sales, marketing, and leadership. So I would be a fool to walk away from that and abandon that, right? Now, for other people, they might. But no matter what I do, it's going to involve sales, marketing, and leadership. And I've done other things, including beauty and skincare. And it always brings me back to sales, marketing, and leadership because people look to me for that information. They look at what I am doing and they want to be like Tamara, right? That's that strong leadership. That's that firstborn daughter, granddaughter, and niece. That strong leadership, okay? So start with what it is that you know. because you likely have a network, and you can utilize that network to help you, one, find clients, and two, provide the social proof, the references, the testimonials, the LinkedIn reviews that you can use. Anyone that you've helped in corporate America can be your first testimonials. So in my case, I could go to people that I helped become successful and make great money in sales as my testimonials. Now I have plenty of clients that I can say, and that I have proof that I have helped, right? Like, I have a client just earlier this year, she went from a couple $100s a month in sales to nearly 10,000 within 2 months. And now she's doing 10,000 regularly, and we are coaching for the next steps to amp her up from 10,000 in sales. And actually, that's of other people's products. Now, the second phase of her development is creating her own products to sell. Okay? Because 100% of 100% is what? 100%. So let me do a check-in here really quickly, see where we are at. So your monthly recurring revenue is your cash flow. And cash flow is so important to your business, because cash flow is what is actually the number one reason that businesses fail. The number one reason that businesses fail is pretty much the number one reason that marriages fail. Marriages fail because of financial problems, right? And it's usually because somebody is always spending the money, and they're spending more than what is coming in. That is bankrupt, right? And so it's the same thing with cash flow. When businesses stop, I think of the two cases, Goodfellas, the movie, and The Sopranos, right? Because the same thing happened in both, where the good guys are, raiding basically a legit business and running up a tab until they run the place out of business, right? Because the business owner is constantly having to give them money for protection or whatever, but then they also are in there eating the place out of home. I don't know if I said that right, but you know what I mean. They're eating up all the product, drinking up all the product, and so eventually they don't have enough to pay their vendors. I've seen that happen. There is a place I used to love to go to in my early 30s, downtown. I had just gotten out of a really bad relationship and bad breakup. So you know how we do. We cut our hair, we lose weight, we get to looking good, and we start going out. And a lot of it truly started as business networking and going to networking events. And I loved this place downtown. And one day the sheriff went and put a sign on the door. They were done. And it was because one of the owners had a problem, gambling, and they weren't able to pay their vendors. They weren't able to pay their rent. So the same thing so if you are really bad with your money in real life, you're going to be really bad with money in a business, and you need to get somebody that manages that, right? So you want to start with something that you already know, and then from there, get your social proof, get your references, and get your first clients. This is how you can never be broke again. I promise you. Build up your portfolio of work and start networking and letting people know what you do, who you serve, how you serve them. What's your unique selling proposition? What makes you different than anyone else? Also known as your framework when it comes to coaching. How do you coach differently? What's your method that gets people the transformation and the results that they want, right? So go get you some clients. Everybody wants to go for low ticket first. You want to go for the big money. You want to go for, especially if you have the corporate background, you have the education, go and get the clients that are going to pay you thousands of dollars and deliver what you promise them, so that you can have the social proof. You can have the white papers. You can have the case studies. And then from there, you can turn it into a course so that you are now not, instead of serving one-to-one, you are now serving one-to-many, and they can, do self-study and study at their own pace. But you have the case studies, you have the testimonials, the white papers to, put out the content and use sales psychology to get the know, like, and trust by making people feel seen, heard, and acknowledged in order to now, create the course, create the membership program, the subscription program where people are paying monthly, and now you have that predictable income. Okay? That's a crash course. That is the crash course, right? So what you need for all of this is you need community. You need your network and you need community. Okay? You can do it all offline through your network. That's a hard life. I'm just keeping real with you. That can be a hard life. You can get a great start. I've done it. You can get a great start through your network, but at some point you are going to exhaust your warm and hot market. And like I said, there is no time in history like now where you can use Wi-Fi, the super powered computer in the palm of your hand, free apps like Canva, like Google Docs, like the social media apps, and be able to create unlimited income, as much income or as little income as you want. Okay? DBA is a great way to pair a monetizable product with an income producing activity like going live to build that community and learn and earn at the same time. Okay? To be building that community. Okay? And it's not that you have to get on and sell DBA or digital marketing, but learn the skill sets that are in there and apply it. I don't know why that's moving. And apply it to creating the content around what it is that you do, who it is that you serve, and attract them to you, and then go live. And by the way, DBA likely has a done-for-you digital product inside of there that you can brand and sell for yourself, or if you at least have the tools and everything to create the product that you can sell and begin to monetize and fund your passion. Getting that deep itching in my ear. I hate that. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Feeling around for a Q-tip. So your monthly recurring revenue is the answer to making sure that you get to stay in business. Your monthly recurring revenue, that predictable, scalable revenue, is key to uncertain economic times, right? One of my favorite books is by Napoleon Hill. Let me see if I can find the exact title of it. It's not How to Survive. I don't know. Is it? No, that's not it. How to Prosper in Hard Times by Napoleon Hill, right? It is a great book. It's actually like a collaboration. It's a bunch of different people, but he's the one who gets credited with the book. Hey girl, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for coming through. Thanks for sharing too. Okay, so How to Prosper in Hard Times. It is an awesome book. In fact, I'll probably listen to that tonight in my sleep, because baby, I do my personal development in the morning and before I go to sleep, because it's just as important in your first thoughts in the morning. Your last thoughts at night are just as important as your first thoughts in the morning. Just as important. Baby, I've been leaving groups. So let's recap. You want to create your monthly recurring revenue, right? Like, yes, I sell DBA. I bought DBA to be able to sell it because the vast majority of what's in there, baby, I know. And I've done it, been there, done that, right? That's not true for everybody though. But I had a market that I'd not been able to serve, and DBA allowed me to be able to serve them without investing a lot of my own effort into it. And I thought TikTok would be a great place to come and serve that market. And you know what? It has made a lot of sense to me. Okay. It has really worked well for me. Okay. So you want to have something like DBA that you can bring to a platform like TikTok, create content, and be able to sell it. You can also, what most people do is they use DBA to learn. They learn that from the information that is inside of DBA, okay? Because before you can build that monthly recurring revenue, you need to actually build the community. You got to build the community. Without the community, you will just be selling DBA all day, every day. That's why, honestly, to be truthful with you, that's why I can be inconsistent with going live, because I can. Because my income is not dependent upon me selling DBA. DBA is like the side gig to my side gig to my side gig. You know what I'm saying? So it is, I have coaching clients. I have courses of my own that I've created. And so DBA is not something that I have to be on live all day, every day selling. Number one, I just can't even do that. Like I don't know how they doing that. They're inconsistent because it's a hard life to be, just selling that product every day. It's the same thing. I was talking about this earlier. It's the same thing I saw with building sales teams. And that is, there were people who really didn't want to get into management, but they would get into management. They had no passion for leadership. They had no passion for running the business, which is what the managers like myself did. They just didn't want to go back to zero every month. Going back to zero every month is a hard life. And that is why creating something that is going to get you revenue every single month is important, so that you can rest, you can relax, you show up. You still need to show up. You still need to show up regularly, right? And with some consistency, but you do not, there are people on here like going live for a whole day, going live for 7-8 hours. I just can't do that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. You have to know yourself, know thyself. And for me, that's very challenging for me to be able to do and be on. Like, I'm very introverted. And yes, you can be introverted and go live. I know, because it actually shocks a lot of people when I tell them that I am introverted. But I am. And so being on in front of the camera all day, every day is a bit challenging for me. And plus, because I do have clients and I do still do other facets of my business that don't involve me being online all day, every day. I can't be online all day, every day, because, my big bucks, my biggest money is actually made outside of that. Okay. And everybody's model is different. Sometimes I play with, well, maybe I should just focus doing more online. And honestly, 10 years ago, you could just have everything running automatically. And the way it is now, you pretty much got to be on live all day, every day, right? And then from there, your email list, being able to work your email list and developing your email list. And that's why in the beginning, it's very important to go live in order to build the community, to build your email list. Because as I said, the platforms, you can get deplatformed at any time. And so if you are relying on your content being the lead magnet, that's great for the people who bought from you, but those who didn't and would buy from you at some point, you now lost them. That's an intangible asset. You need those leads. You want those leads because those leads are going to pop at some point. Okay? I'm probably going to go soon because this is really bugging me. I got to get down in my ear. I can't stand that itching. So you want to build your monthly recurring revenue. It is your way to build without having to always, it's really the best form of passive income, to be completely honest with you. From my standpoint, I don't really know anybody who just has anything just really running on autopilot with funnels and in paid or unpaid ads. A lot of them are not really telling the whole story. I won't say they're not telling the truth, but they're not really telling you the whole story. Or when you listen to the whole story, it's like, yeah, that's not truly passive though. Okay? And that's okay. But the bottom line is, as we started out this discussion, everybody is going to need multiple forms of income moving forward. Everybody is going to need to have backup plans and backup plans to the backup plan to the backup plan to the backup plan. It's just not going to be optional, right? You've got to be developing yourself. You've got to be developing your skills, including your soft skills. Books like Crucial Conflicts, Crucial Conversations, really learning. Maybe that's what I'll go live about tomorrow, is books that have really helped me with my soft skills in my 32 years of sales, marketing, and leadership experience. I think that's what I'll do tomorrow, as I'll talk about some of those books. Some of them are a little older books now, but they're still good books. I still refer to a lot of the books that I'm going to share with you. I still refer to those books. They were golden. And then I'll also check around and see what else is out there that people rate really highly and review really highly. So your income producing activities, your number one income producing activity is always going to be personal development, developing yourself personally, because your income will seldom exceed personal development. New levels, new devils. So I am going to go. It's a little later. I am going to go, and I should be able to go live by midday tomorrow based on my schedule. I've got some appointments in the morning, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Be sure to follow and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss when I go live next. And you also can get a free sneak peek of DBA, and you know where to go, to the LINK and my BIO. I will chat with you soon.